The identity has been released of a motorcyclist who was killed in a fatal crash yesterday on Sagamore Parkway. What officials know so far about the accident coming up.
And record-breaking enrollment numbers for this year's fall semester are leaving Purdue University's dorm rooms overcrowded. What some students are experiencing just ahead.
Another day of sunshine as this kind of late August doldrum pattern continues. It's dry, it's very warm, but we do have at least a few storms in the forecast. Very hit or miss, but a few by tomorrow late evening and night. We'll show you that next.
News 18 at 11 starts now. WLFI Lafayette. News from where you live.
Good evening, I'm Samantha Tiki.
And I'm Cameron DeBlasio. Thanks for joining us. State police took custody of Keegan Klein, then returned him to the Miami County Jail at some point over the last several days. That's according to a recent judge's order. As we've reported, court documents suggest Klein is behind the fake Anthony_Shots social media profile. Investigators believe that account was the last to communicate with Liberty German before her death in 2017. As part of the Delphi double homicide investigation, police are looking for anyone who's interacted with the account owner. We reached out to ISP to ask about Klein's temporary custody. A spokesperson declined to comment due to an active and ongoing investigation.
The sports world and people right here in Greater Lafayette are in mourning tonight after Purdue football legend and NFL Hall of Famer Len Dawson passed away this morning at the age of 87. Alan Karpick, the host of Gold and Black, wrote up a special story on the legacy and life of number 16.
It's hard to even talk about it.
Len Dawson, a member of Purdue's Cradle of Quarterbacks, passed away at age 87. Dawson, one of Purdue's all-time great signal callers, leading the Gold and Black from 1954 to 56. After Purdue, he became the first Boilermaker to be enshrined in the NFL Hall of Fame, an honor earned by his play with the Kansas City Chiefs. Dawson led KC to 2 Super Bowls, including the title in 1970 when he was the game's MVP. After his 19-year NFL career on the field, Dawson became a sports broadcasting icon, one of the first former players to do so. For nearly 50 years, Dawson had stints with NBC, HBO, and local radio and television in the Kansas City area. His 24-year run with HBO's Inside the NFL made him a name synonymous with the great NFL broadcasters of his day. Few quarterbacks in Purdue football history burst on the scene with more flair than Dawson. He tossed 8 touchdown passes in his first 2 college games in 1954, including a historic upset of number 1 Notre Dame. In that victory in South Bend, he was nicknamed the Golden Boy by national media and played a significant role in Purdue deciding it needed a Golden Girl for its All-American marching band. A native of Alliance, Ohio, Dawson graduated from Purdue as its all-time leading passer, a record that has been broken since. Dawson, a Purdue Athletics Hall of Fame member, was indeed a student athlete in his days in West Lafayette. He was Purdue's first academic All-American, an honor he earned as a senior, and he married his high school sweetheart in his early days as a Boilermaker student.
Again, that was Alan Karpick with Gold and Black reporting. Purdue Athletics paid tribute to Dawson today. To check out their special page, head to our website, WLFI.com.
The Tippecanoe County Coroner's Office releases the name of a motorcyclist killed in yesterday's crash in West Lafayette. Police found 22-year-old Robert Glenn dead at the scene. An autopsy is scheduled for tomorrow. The 911 call came in just before 5:30 Tuesday evening. The crash happened on Sagamore Parkway north of Winhenschel Boulevard. News 18 spoke with a witness of that crash. She says Glenn crashed into a car that slammed on its brakes. She says the collision was a chain reaction to another car that peeled out of a parking lot into the road.
The West Nile virus has been detected in Tippecanoe County. That's according to the county health department. 3 mosquito groups tested positive for West Nile virus, according to results from the State Department of Health. This is the first time this year a positive test has been reported in the county. However, the health department says the virus was found in the county in the last few years. Health officials are asking people to take precautions when outdoors during dusk and dawn when mosquitoes are most active. They also encourage the use of insect repellent containing DEET and making sure your property is free of any standing water. Well, turning now to weather, a few storms in our future, but it's nothing out of the ordinary for August. Storm Team 18 meteorologist Chad Evans joins us now with a look at the forecast. Hey, Chad.
Yeah, hey there, Sam. Yeah, that after highs today in the 80s to around 90 degrees. We got to 86 at the Purdue Airport, 86 as well at Winnemac, though 82 at Monticello, 87 at Galveston, and 88 at Attica. And we're running in the 60s to right around 70. For tonight, Green Farms up at 12 Mile, 87 the high today. Very dry area in northeast Cass County. They've only had less than 3.5 inches of rain since June the 1st. And the Weehawken Plains very dry. They've had less than 4 inches since June 1st. The high at the Arnold Farm, 90. And Candy Teal just texted me. She's got a 67 there at Chalmers. Always appreciate all the spotter reports on the weather stations from all of our local farmers and viewers in the viewing area. There's the front. This will move our way. Maybe an isolated shower between about noon, 1, 2 o'clock tomorrow. Otherwise, just a few scattered storms tomorrow night. Then we're going to talk some tropics because these are going to ramp up. And anytime you see something develop in the Gulf of Mexico, you got to watch it to see if it can get pulled up this way or this way. We'll dig into that coming up.
All right, Chad, thank you. Well, this year's class of Purdue students is once again the biggest yet, but that's led to overcrowding in some of the dorms. We spoke with Sean Brennan, a freshman at Purdue. He says he was originally supposed to live in the honors residence, but a month before his move-in day, he was told he had been moved to a 2-person room in McCutcheon Hall. There he learned about other students who are in auxiliary housing. Brennan tells News 18 there are several students living in the basement of McCutcheon Hall, and some are staying in what used to be a loading dock.
In my opinion, the residences have done the best that they can. However, there's still just so many students accepted to the school and not really enough space for all of them. So it'd be better if they either accepted less students or made more housing, because it's still not convenient. Even though they're trying, it's definitely not as good as it could be.
News 18 reached out to Purdue for comment. A spokesperson for the university says, quote, there are several rooms with larger capacity which are assigned for the full year, many of them booked by returners who chose those accommodations. Please note that Purdue does not require students to live on campus at any point in their academic career, end quote.
6 months into the Russian invasion of Ukraine, and one Purdue political science professor says it's difficult to predict how much longer the conflict could last. Purdue professor Kyle Haynes says Russia likely never saw the war lasting this long when it started back in February. At the time, he says Russian President Vladimir Putin believed his military would remove the Ukrainian government from power in a matter of weeks. Haynes says the shipment of weapons to Ukraine from Western countries like the U.S. has an impact on Ukraine's ability to defend itself. Haynes says the latest warning for Americans to immediately evacuate Ukraine could indicate an increase in non-military casualties.
I think we may be seeing the war start to shift even more towards a war of attrition and attacks on civilian targets that have not necessarily a high military value, but a high sort of value just in terms of, lives, money, things like that.
Haynes does not expect the U.S. to involve itself in the war. The only way he believes that could change is if Russia invades a NATO country like Poland, where Ukrainian troops are being trained.
Well, the Tippecanoe School Corporation moved to a 4-tier schedule for its 19 schools this fall. The change was meant to address a critical bus driver shortage causing hour-long delays before and after school. This means that school zone time frames across the county are now wildly different. Schools under the new staggered schedule can start as early as 7:30 in the morning and end as late as 4:10 in the afternoon. Sheriff Bob Goldsmith says that's something drivers need to be aware of. He says the adjustment period has caused some confusion.
Instead of one big push of traffic, if you will, out into the roadways, now you're getting 2 or 3 in different areas, and it's frustrating to the people that are traveling those areas.
For a full list of school zone times and locations, you can truck on over to our website, WLFI.com.
A new venue could soon be coming to the greater Lafayette area. The Board of Zoning Appeals approved a special exception for it this evening. During its monthly meeting, the Board of Zoning Appeals met with Todd and Lynn Edgel, who were requesting a special exception to permit an agricultural rental hall. Right now, the building is a barn that has been in the Edgels family for generations. The couple is looking to restore the property and turn it into an event venue. The BZA had concerns about the project and originally recommended to deny the request, but after hearing from the couple, the board ultimately voted to approve the exception. The Edgels are excited and ready to get the project moving.
There's lots of work to do on it. It needs a lot of work, and we've got a lot of more. This was just a small first step. I mean, there's a lot more steps in the process.
Though the special exception has been approved by the BZA, the approval is conditional and will require approvals from other departments in the county.
Well, new tonight, exclusive details about the two political debates taking place on Channel 18 this fall. We're teaming up with the League of Women Voters for the debates. The first debate will air September 29th from 7 until 8 p.m. It will showcase the race for Tippecanoe County Sheriff. Jason Huber and Bob Goldsmith will square off at McCutcheon High School. The debate will be open to the public, and the second debate will air on October 6th with the candidates for trustee of Fairfield Township and Wabash Township. That debate will take place from 5 until 6 at Jefferson High School and again is open to the public. Last week, we reported that there were going to be 3 debates. The debate involving candidates for Senate District 23 and House District 26 have been canceled. For the latest details on the debates, you can head to our website, WLFI.com.
The field is now set for the special election to fill the seat of late Congresswoman Jackie Walorski for the remainder of the current term. Paul Sturry was selected as the Democratic nominee at a caucus this week. Sturry is also the nominee for the general election. Now he'll be up against Republican Rudy Yacom for both elections. Over the weekend, district Republicans chose Yacom as the nominee for both elections. The winner of the special election will serve through January 3rd. Then the winner of the general election will be in office through the next full term. Sturry says he will continue using his connections as an educator to reach out to voters in District 2.
I'm going around just making sure I meet as many people as possible so they know who I am and know that I'm there to listen to them, and I really want to be their representative. I'm feeling good. Moral support is high. And so today is a new day, and I'm excited for 77 more days.
And of course, Election Day for both races is November 8th. News 18 will provide updates to this race throughout election season. The ribbon-cutting ceremony for the Patty Jischke Early Care and Education Center in West Lafayette was held this morning. How the new center will help kids in the greater Lafayette area coming up.
All right, the ragweed pollen, very high today. It will be very high tomorrow as well. It should stay there for the rest of the week and into the weekend. We're going to need a little more rain to wash things out for a time. We'll talk about a little better chance of getting storms early next week, but also the hotter and more humid air for the weekend. Latest in a few minutes.
You're watching News 18 at 11. News from where you live.
This morning was a ribbon-cutting ceremony, for the brand new Patty Jischke Early Care and Education Center in West Lafayette.
News 18's Marcus Truccio has more.
The ribbon was cut at the new Patty Jischke Early Care and Education Center. Those in attendance at the ceremony included Patty Jischke, her husband and former Purdue president Martin Jischke, their family, and leaders from both Purdue and Early Learning Indiana. The center opened up its doors just a few weeks ago. It heavily focuses not only on childcare for faculty and staff at Purdue, but also early education, which is crucial according to Maureen Weber, Early Learning Indiana's president and CEO. She says children learn essential skills that can follow them throughout their lives really before they even start kindergarten. Therefore, early education is so important, and this facility will allow them to carry out their mission.
Allows us to serve children with all the things that they need to be surrounded with. And one very important thing that it does is allows us to serve a large number of infants and toddlers. We know both in this community and throughout the state, infant and toddler seats are the most in demand.
The facility's namesake, Patty Jischke, spoke at the event about how important this is for local families. She said that 40 years ago, when she was a young mother in Oklahoma, there simply was no childcare, let alone early education. The only option was to drive 45 minutes for a 2-hour-a-day program, which forced her to have to leave her career in law.
Childcare and early education are a desperate need for families. It's, parents aren't necessarily able to give all of their attention to raising children when they also need to be earning an income or have their own career aspirations. And to have to take months, years out of their lives in order to give their kids the best possible start in life can be a career ender for many people, particularly women. It happens that way.
Reporting from West Lafayette, Marcus Truccio, News 18.
Jischke also says she has seen the benefits of early education in her own grandchildren and is thrilled to see what this center can do for the community.
The United Way of Greater Lafayette kicks off its annual community campaign tomorrow. It will be held at the Stables Event Center in Lafayette from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. Jim Smith is the campaign chair for United Way. He'll announce the campaign goal tomorrow at the kickoff event. Smith says people in the community are in need of more local mental health care. That's because the funding available has gone down as the need for assistance has gone up.
This year is exciting for us because the last 2 years we've been impacted in a negative way because of the COVID-19 pandemic. The funds have not come in as they had in the past because of the pandemic. Understandably so, some businesses have closed, some people have lost their jobs. Because of that, there's a lot of stress in our community.
The kickoff event isn't the only thing happening this week. This Saturday, United Way is hosting its inaugural Run United 5K event at Subaru of Indiana Automotive.
And now, your Storm Team 18 forecast. Weather from where you live.
All right, so there's the front right there. That's the one that comes through tomorrow evening. Tomorrow night gives us a few very widely scattered storms. And then whatever's left of this brings maybe an isolated shower around noon, 1:30 tomorrow. Overall, now through September, though, when you look at the grand scheme of things, it's a drier and warmer than normal weather pattern. The wild card with the precip is whatever happens in the tropics, because what we're seeing now is the Indian Ocean and the Atlantic Ocean, all the parameters in both of these, and there's an interconnection with them working together to increase tropical activity. But they're all going to be working in tandem to really increase the number of tropical storms and hurricanes that will be forming in the Gulf, the Caribbean, and also the eastern Atlantic. The Saharan dust is also gone, and then you've got the abnormally warm water temperatures. I superimposed the sea surface temperature anomalies, put them on the map here, and you can see northeast Gulf is about 2-3 degrees above normal for the water temperature. Same thing here off the coast of the Carolinas, and it is much warmer off Baja California. And then this warm water has been a factor in the flooding in the desert Southwest and also parts of Texas into Mississippi. But with this warm water, with everything else working together, the tropics will really ramp up over the next 1 to 3 weeks. And you've always got to watch it, because even though we could be in a drier and warmer pattern, if you can pull a hurricane, get it to make landfall on the Gulf Coast and pull it up into our area. I mean, a round of those remnants will give you 3 inches of rain in 24 hours. So you always got to watch the tropics, even though overall you're pretty dry. Some patchy fog in the morning. Then we're partly to mostly cloudy midday to about 1:30. Maybe an isolated shower then. The sun kind of reemerges and we get up to 88 with a southwest wind and the heat index of 91. 85 to 91 will do it for highs area-wide tomorrow with the heat indices 87 to 95 as the humidity comes up. Friday, after a few widely scattered storms, late Thursday evening, Thursday night, some patchy fog early Friday morning. Otherwise, it's partly cloudy day, winds north-northwest, and a high of 85 after 66 in the morning. And there you see the highs 80 north, but mid-80s as you go southwestward in the viewing area. So here we go. This is tomorrow near midday 1, maybe an isolated shower. Then the sun reemerges once again. And then tomorrow night, just a few widely scattered storms, about 30% coverage late evening and into part of the night. And then they're out of here. Friday's fine. The weekend is rather warm to hot and humid. But watch what happens on Monday. A round of storms comes through, at least scattered storms. So we have a few in the morning, and then we get a few more later on in the day. Maybe an isolated severe storm or two here, but when we look at our severe cast right here, the stronger mid and upper level winds are going to be up here. So your better severe weather risk will be up here, northern Great Lakes, and over New England. 70 forecast, normal high is 82. We'll be at 90 on Saturday. 93 Sunday, feeling like 98, 99. Monday, scattered storms. Few more storms on Tuesday with 87. We're back down to 84 Wednesday.